If you're someone that's constantly getting ankle sprains, maybe they're out of nowhere when you're stepping off a curb or you're playing your sport, whatever it is, chances are you've had physical therapy that looks extremely basic. And I'm talking physical therapy where they put a little band over your foot, you push forward, you pull backwards, you move it side to side. Maybe you got a little cup and you're grabbing some marbles and you're putting into the cup, or you're doing some towel scrunches. And then they have you stand on a Bosu ball or stand on a foam pad and you're balancing there, and that's it. That's just not enough to get you back to high level sports or getting you to trust your foot and your ankle again. So what we're gonna do today is expose you to a couple of different things that you might wanna screen for. And if they're terrible, you've got a lot of opportunity to get better. The first thing that we're gonna work on is just gonna be the single leg calf raise. They did a study, I believe it's in 2015, where they took a bunch of healthy individuals and had them do as many single leg calf raises as possible. If you're from the age of 20 to 38, if you're a male, you should be able to do 37. If you're a female, you should be able to do roughly about 28, I believe it is. But anyone that comes into our clinic, we hold them to 30. And this is all it looks like. You're gonna keep your leg fairly straight. And ideally, I'm facing a wall using my hands for balance. I'm gonna come all the way up into a calf raise, come down where my heels drop below the level of the surface, and come back up. And what I'm looking for is a nice 1 second up, 1 second down, 1 second up, 1 second down. And we're looking for 30 repetitions in a row without breaking that tempo, without you leaning forward in order to get the heel up, without the knee unlocking as you're coming up. The knee stays completely straight and you're just oscillating up and down without any shifts forward and back. And 30 repetitions is our goal. The next exercise is just gonna be a tib raise. And with the tib raises, I'm mainly just looking to see if there's a deficit side to side in the 6 to 10 rep range. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna put a kettlebell over your foot. You're gonna let the kettlebell stretch you into plantar flexion where your toes are pointing away from you. And then you're gonna come back up and then you're gonna repeat the process. If the kettlebell on your foot is very uncomfortable, you can utilize a towel to kind of fill in that gap for a little bit more cushion, or you can look for some sort of tib raise attachment on Amazon. Now, this is something that I'll typically use more if someone has been weight or non-weight bearing on that leg. If they had a traumatic injury or surgery that forced them not to utilize that foot for an extended period of time and they couldn't put weight on it, I'll look for something like a tib raise and just see if there's any strength deficits. It's something that's less common in like just traditional ankle sprain injuries, but when you've been offloading that leg for an extended period of time, you'll see some weaknesses in the anterior tib, and that's when I'll start to utilize this kettlebell tib raise. If you're starting to get back into single leg balance exercises, chances are if you just stand on one leg, it gets pretty easy after training it for about a week or so. So what we wanna do is we wanna start to challenge it dynamically. And there's two variations that I'll utilize. As we get into the single leg balance, I'm gonna soften my knee. I'm gonna reach my arms overhead and I'm gonna shift my hips side to side as I reach the ball. So if I reach the ball towards my left, my hips will shift to the right. And I'm trying to challenge my base of support as much as possible. The key here is the ball and the reach acts as a perturbation. I'm knocking myself off balance so that my body can learn how to stabilize me more dynamically. As we start to do overhead, and that gets pretty easy, we can start to add a rotational reach as well. So same thought process, stand on one leg, keep the knee slightly bent. You're gonna rotate away from that leg. Then you're gonna reach across that leg. And with these movements, the overhead, the rotational, what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot for 10 reps side to side. Going one way and completing that rotation is one repetition. You're gonna try to keep that other leg off the ground the whole time. If you've never done this, your foot is gonna light up, your calves are gonna light up, you might even get some quads, but you'll definitely feel some glutes. And our goal over time is to make sure that it's not just single leg balance that we're challenging, but a dynamic single leg balance, and we're constantly making the exercises a little bit more difficult. As we start to challenge our jumps in our plyometric menu, one thing that you might wanna consider is the direction that you're actually moving in relative to the injury that you experience. If you had a lateral ankle sprain, right, where you sprain yourself on the outside part of your foot, if I do a bound and I move sideways, it's gonna put me into that same position. So as we start to do the bound and I can start to stick it and it starts to feel pretty solid, one way to progress that is going to be doing a lateral hop to the same direction. So I do a hop and I go laterally, it's gonna create that same deformation that I have to be able to resist. So we go from a lateral bound And as we progress, lateral hop. Now you might have, maybe you don't have a lateral ankle sprain. Maybe you have a medial ankle sprain and your deltoid ligament is something that got injured. What we can do is, instead of a traditional lateral bound, we can start to include a crossover bound, right? Because as I start to do the crossover and land that way, it starts to put more stress to the medial side of my foot. So the direction that we start to include for our jumps and our plyos will put stress in certain tissues more than others. So now if we did a lateral hop and we do a medial hop inward, it's gonna get that same stress to the medial aspect of your ankle. So if you had a medial ankle sprain, this is something that you might want to utilize. So now that you can start to challenge things in a specific direction, you can add a lot of different directions into one complex. So one thing I'll do is called a slalom. So I'm coming this way and I'm kind of doing a zigzag pattern. You can do a 2-1 pattern. So which 1, 2, come back, 1, 2, come back. That can be done forward and back. That can be done side to side. 1, 2, come back, 1, 2, come back, 1, 2, come back. You can do that medially. You can do that laterally. But the goal is to start to put your body in a lot of different positions, start to build a lot of elasticity and a lot of local endurance in those tissues and structures, so that, you know, when you're running and maybe it's 30, 40 minutes into a run, maybe you're doing a trail run, maybe you're playing a really long game of basketball, whatever it is, you've got not just the strength and elasticity, but you've also got the endurance to be able to land and hit and strike the ground in the right positions. Rehab is more than just a bunch of super easy exercises that you do on the table. And I'm not saying that those exercises don't have a place. They're usually great for the beginning stages of physical therapy. But the problem is that most physical therapists don't know how to progress things to higher performance. They don't know how to appropriately dose jumps, plyometrics, and all of these things that are a little bit more dynamic. So if you're someone that's been dealing with chronic ankle sprains, feel free to reach out to our team. We work with people virtually, as well as in one of our 3 locations here in New York City, and you can schedule a free phone consultation in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please take care of those glass ankles.